Well, here we are. I guess you can say, some people say week 0. It's really week 1 as we get underway. Huntsville Hornet football ready to kick off at home. First game at Bowers versus A&M Consolidated, hosting the Tigers. But before we dig into that, Coach Southern, always good to catch up with you. Appreciate your time and accessibility. Had a pretty good scrimmage there in Lufkin. Let us know a little bit about your thoughts and just kind of your takeaways from that scrimmage.
Yeah, overall, from beginning to end, it wasn't bad. We didn't play real well in the control part, and they jumped on us in the first live quarter and scored a couple and got up 13-0. But our kids hung in there, and the second quarter or the last quarter, we actually played really well. We had a really good punt that we downed and held them and ended up scoring, and then Marcus Lewis was our quarterback that was in there in that series, and he checked to a pass route with about 40-something seconds left and threw a perfect ball to Savion, and Savion did a good job. So then we kicked the extra point, and then we held them. So we ended up winning the live quarters 14-13. But you take some good and some bad from scrimmages. Obviously, there are things you can always get better at, but the way our kids finished was really good.
I think that's important. You just mentioned that, Coach, and you think about some of these situations are going to come up in actual gameplay. I've been part of scrimmages, I'm sure you have, where really nothing kind of materialized. So this was a really good learning time and teaching time for your kids.
Well, and having, we didn't play Trayshawn, our running back, just out of precaution. And then, Marcus and Austin both played in the live quarters at quarterback, because we've got to be able to obviously have two of those guys ready. And for him to, to go to the line of scrimmage, we had a hitch called, and he looks and sees the coverage and, did things he's been coached to do and made a good throw. So, there's going to be some situations Friday night. I've already told our kids that, we don't know a lot about this new staff. We don't know exactly what they're going to try to do. We haven't seen any kicking game on film. So, these are those kind of games. The first game's always one where it's more about you than it is about your opponent.
A&M Consolidated Tigers here at Bowers to get underway. There'll be a few of those games before the beautiful Huntsville ISD Stadium gets opened up. We're excited. Football's right around the corner. You head into this. I know here on this interview, obviously we're on a Tuesday, so you still got a lot of practice. I used to ask you the question, how were practices this week? But Coach, as you look into maybe what are some things that you're looking forward to during practice this week with just the team continuing to mold together and really get ready for this kickoff week?
Well, this week changes compared to last week. Everything last week is good on good, and you don't have a lot of scout looks because you're not going to prep for a scrimmage in terms of a scout look. Now, we have some film, and obviously we have some basic things that they do offensively and defensively. So you start to break into scout groups. We got to get JV guys ready to play on Thursday night and get all their specialty stuff done. So you try to get a lot of that done on Monday and Tuesday. That way you can kind of clean it up Wednesday and then walk through it on Thursday is how we do it. And we've gotten a lot of that. This is Tuesday, so we did a lot of inside run this morning to get our O-line and D-line ready to go there. So we'll do the same things we typically do, but Wednesday becomes more of we got to focus on some of the JV stuff in the morning, and we'll watch film and lift with the varsity and finish up with our 2-minute and 4-minute and all that type of stuff in the afternoons.
Always try to promote the good, of course, and what these young men are doing here under your leadership, Coach, 10 years at the helm. As you went through this scrimmage and now getting ready for kickoff, maybe what stood out to you that's just you've really been impressed with, something to highlight these guys in a positive way that you always do? Well,
I think, last week we talked a little bit about the amount of time we now get in the summer is I don't know if you can put a price on how valuable that time is if your guys are here. And I thought overall our varsity guys that we're going to rely on were here this summer. And we've been able to kind of focus a little bit different now, because normally first couple weeks of practice and 2-a-days used to be, you got to get them in shape and you got to do, we're in shape. Now, are we game shape for 4 quarters? Probably not, but you don't get that way till you play 4 quarters. So, but I thought our kids were very committed. They're doing the little things that we've asked them to do. And I thought our summer was tremendous. And then the week prior to starting practice, we did a little mini camp, what we called it, where we tried to treat them like pros, where we met and did a lot of other things instead of a lot of pounding their body, and I think that's paid off.
Just one quick question about A&M Consolidated as the kickoff will get underway Friday. Maybe one thing as you head into this game that you really feel like this is something we've got to do to be successful in this contest.
Well, I've told people, from 1994 to now, I've played or been a part of games with A&M Consolidated, I think 8 or 9 times at 3 different schools, and they've been almost consistently the same type of football team every year. They're always very talented at the skill position. They've always got O linemen and D linemen. They may not have all 5 or all 4 or whatever it is, but they've always been extremely talented. They've always had some big kids, and if you look at their history, they've won every year that they've played football. Very seldom do they have a real down year. So I think they're a really good test, obviously, for us to start the season. But the big thing for us is, we've got to be able to do the things that we want to do offensively and defensively, and focus more on us than, because there's going to be something Friday night we haven't prepared for because we haven't seen it. And we've even got film, where this coach was in the past, but that doesn't mean that's what he's doing now. So, it's more player for player, and we've got to do a good job executing and try to make one more play than they make.
Finally, Coach, school obviously well underway. What's the excitement been? Have you noticed any excitement from the athletes, or are they just kind of, hey, we're ready to play football? What's that atmosphere been like?
Well, I think, schools have transitioned now because of the summer, because they're here so much in the summer. I think school just kind of becomes, okay, now I got to go to class. I think there's a quiet excitement about, obviously, when we're able to get in our own stadium, because these kids have watched this process, some of them for 2 years, of clearing land, building whatever. I think there's going to be a quiet excitement as that builds toward the day we do get in the new stadium.
Coach Southern, as always, appreciate your time. Looking forward to it. And on Friday, sting 'em Hornets.
All right.
Let's wrap it up with head coach and athletic director Rodney Southern. We'll have more here as we continue on. Keep it locked in here to this podcast. I'm Rob Hipp. We'll see you soon.